Hello, I am Quinny. Welcome to the channel, guys. In this video today, I'm going to be looking at the breakout Wonderkids for this season. I've been watching tons of football this year, probably more than ever, and it feels like there's Wonderkids coming out of every direction, all sorts of leagues, all sorts of clubs, and I'm going to do my best to get the best 11 down for this video today. The guys that have came out of the academy, maybe they've had a free transfer, something's happened, they're now in the first team in a top flight division, and they're kicking ass and taking names and performing on the biggest stage in football. At any point in the video, guys, if you do laugh, you learn, or you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe and share and retweet and all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and let's get stuck into it. If you could hit the subscribe button, I do daily global football content, everything from Wonderkids and Rising Star Managers to fantasy football and watch-alongs. That will also automatically enter you into my April giveaway. This month, I'm giving away a 1 of 100 Belgium Youth International, Ewood Pletench, and 2 limited goalkeepers. If you want to stick around to the end of the video, we'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, with the goalkeeper, I'm kind of torn because there's a goalkeeper that we'll start with, Gabriel Solina, or Gaga Solina, who broke out in the last season of MLS and became the #1 goalkeeper for Chicago. Been linked to Juventus in the summer. All the big teams in Europe are looking to scoop this guy up to put him into their academy and get them coaching him. But the decision's been taken. He's going to be in Chicago for the rest of this season. So he's going to be the #1 keeper there again at the age of 17, 18. And, you know, long pass accuracy's there. He's got great shot stopping statistics as well. And he really is like, and again, there's a big clamber in modern football at the highest level for the best goalkeepers. With the impact that Alisson and Ederson have had on the goalkeeper position in the last 5 years, guys like this that show such great promise at an early age, the sky's the limit. The other guy I would want to throw into the conversation is a kind of sub-note. I wouldn't put him quite in the team, but somebody I would definitely want you to be paying attention to is Marmashvili, the Georgian goalkeeper at Valencia. So he's recently broke through to the team. And in 12 appearances, he's got 6 clean sheets this year. I had the fortunate privilege to go to the Mestalla and watch Valencia in person, and I've got to say he's an athletic, agile, impressive goalkeeper, and his kicking was good, and overall, like, it was one of those goalkeepers, you know, it's like when you go to a game of football, you can make a decision on a goalkeeper by their posture, their body language, how they command the box, that kind of thing. He ticked all of those boxes. I think he's an absolute stud of a keeper, and the thing with Valencia is they actually do have a few #1 caliber goalkeepers, and he's a wee bit fortunate with the circumstances he's found to get his minutes, but by golly, he's taking his chance and he looks really impressive. It'll be interesting to see if he can nail down that Valencia first team spot, or if he maybe leaves in the summer to get a first team spot somewhere else. So Marmashvili is somebody I would be definitely thinking about as a breakout Wonderkid goalkeeper for this year. In defence, first and foremost, it is all about Josko Guardiola this year. He has become the apex left centre-back of a back three in world football, I think, this year. Per 90 minutes, he's averaging over 10 passes into the final third. His defensive duels, aerial duels, loose ball duels, all those success percentages are over 50. He's a big commanding centre-back with a wicked left foot. He can play some amazing passes. He's got a couple of goals this year. He's got a couple of assists. And he started off before joining Leipzig. He started as a left back. And when you see the guy's like physique, he's a big unit. He's a really strong, big, imposing centre back. And when you marry that up with having like a youth career or breaking through into like the Croatia team and into the Zagreb team and whatnot as more of a left back, then that attacking flair to go forward and attack spaces as the team progresses up the pitch, along with that strong cam physique to be dominating as a centre back, makes him the absolute perfect cocktail of the modern like back three defender, and it's been all about Guardiola this year. Castello Luqueba has broke onto the scene as well in his rookie season. At 17 years of age, coming into a rocky, shaky basket case of a Leon team. He has 74% defensive duel success, 64% dribble success. So what that tells you is the guy is winning his defensive duels. He's able to carry the ball out of danger and try and play the ball into midfield or out into a wide position. And he's been, honestly, I've watched Leon twice since he's been playing, and he does not look like a 17-year-old in any description of the term. You know, he plays above his years. He looks above his years, very physically imposing in the man's game, even though being a 17-year-old centre-back, and as well as he's calm on the ball, he makes good decisions, doesn't take many risks that are unjustified. Already been called at 17 years of age into the France youth setup, as well as playing some Europa League football this year. Again, at such a young age, he's had such great exposure at the top flight of football. Now this kid is starting to get on more and more people's lips, and that is Pierre Kalulu. He's had a real amazing second season at AC Milan, and he's starting to get plaudits and plaudits as AC Milan's success up the table. And you really notice him when Tomori is out the team, but when they're both in the team together, you know, the thing with AC Milan, the combinations of defence have had this year between Kalulu, Romagnoli, Kjaer when he's been fit, and Tomori, Kalulu looks like the one who tries the absolute. I'm not saying none of the other guys don't, right? But the thing about Kalulu is it feels like every time when you watch him, he's playing in a cup final. He runs every yard. He goes the extra mile to get a toe on the ball to make sure that pass goes, to win that header. He's a real like cup final player is what he feels like to watch. 73% defensive duel success rate, and yeah, highly progressive, you know, so when he is winning his duels, he's really quick and agile, really intelligent, and he tracks yards, you know, so when he's carrying the ball, you know, if you look at his heat map, he looks more like a right back, to be quite honest with you. And he's a big part of Milan's build-up play. Probably the most exciting playmaker midfielder that's outside the European top 5 leagues at the moment is Korchu of Feyenoord. He has really made a great name for himself in Sorare circles, as well as those kind of stat pages for looking at past success and attempted this and attempted that and yada yada. He ticks all the stats. He's got such high statistics, and he is one of the kids that this season has really made a name for himself. And when you see big teams now looking around for those creative, controlling midfielders, this guy is going to be on every agent's hit list, every transfer window hit list, every team's key list of targets for the top end. Those guys that can be press resistant, can be secure on the ball, and have the game intelligence to move the ball left to right, to know when to play into defence, to know when to thread that through ball in for the assist, to know when to get yourself in the box to try and get a goal. Those midfielders are the ones that when they do break out, they go to the top end of the game, and I really expect this guy to have an active summer. Probably expect him to stay at Feyenoord one more year if I'm totally honest, and next year he becomes the guy where everyone's worried about where's he going to go in the summer. Does he go here, does he go there? So far this season he's got 6 goals, 8 assists. He debuted in 18-19 season, so for such a young age, he's got a lot of top-flight football under his belt already, and he's, like I say, he's just an all-round monster. He just does absolutely everything in the middle of the pitch. Now, Kalidou Kone really, so in the summer, there was 2 French players that moved to the Bundesliga. Both of them make this list, actually, and the first one is Kalidou Kone. So Kalidou Kone has been playing centre mid for Mönchengladbach, who really do put a lot of pressure on their centre mids in terms of the game, in terms of what they need to do for the team. 2.6 fouls suffered per 90 and 1.7 progressive runs per 90. Kalidou Kone has really stood out with the goals and assists he's been grabbing as well as a real box-to-box, apex, progressive midfielder. He can win, you know, duels galore, aerial, defensive, loose ball, progressive runs on the turn, all this stuff. Kalidou Kone is doing this, and again, similar to Lukeba when I was talking about him, Mönchengladbach have had a terrible season. So for a young player to have such amazing statistics in a team that is failing, in a team that is floundering, in a team that is not doing well, is very impressive. I would expect this guy to stay at Mönchengladbach next year. And if he keeps up his total success, so every action he participates in on the pitch, he's got a 64% success rate. If he can keep that up into next season, and if Mönchengladbach can sort themselves out a little bit more, he gets a couple more assists, he gets a couple more goals, and very quickly, a lot of his statistics go up a few levels really quickly. He's got all the raw potential, all the raw minerals there. It just needs the rest of the team around him to really click into gear. They need to find their goal-scoring form and a wee bit more defensive resilience. I don't think there's anyone in world football who isn't looking at Gavi as one of the breakout players of the season. Where we're all talking about Pedri in the summer, how many games Pedri played, how amazing Pedri is, Pedri. And in this season, Gavi comes along and does everything that Gavi was doing, and he's just a little bit younger. But on top of that, again, I had the pleasure of going and watching Barcelona versus Elche, and seeing Gavi play, and Pedri, in fact, in the flesh was absolutely breathtaking. I've got the reference point of, I was very fortunate enough to be able to see like Xavi and Iniesta play live in the flesh on 2 or 3 occasions, and that, the thing about Xavi and Iniesta and their pomp, right, that both of those kids, and Gavi in particular, exhibit, is they have this amazing positional fluidity where they can really touch every blade of grass on the pitch and never be out of position, if that makes sense. So Gavi, I've seen Xavi play him left wing, I've seen him play centre mid, and when you really do watch him, that fluidity that him, Pedri, Ferran Torres, that La Masia blood is really bringing through into the next generation. It's so amazing to watch. I'd never see him really leaving Barcelona. Passes into the final third for a 17-year-old, bearing in mind his 86% success rate, and penalty area passes are over 50% success rate, which is fantastic. 24 appearances, he got 2 goals and 4 assists, and out of his appearances, he's not got many 90 minutes because Barcelona this year, prior to Xavi, as you know, were a bit of a basket case, did have lots of injuries, and as Koeman said, you know, Koeman famously came out and said, thanks to me, Barcelona have a future, because he was giving guys like Xavi minutes, and you know, these guys deserve minutes of top quality. But when you see now how many minutes he's had, it's made it easier for Xavi to come in and keep these guys as first team players, and Gavi is really benefiting from all of that now, and I cannot wait to see him through next season. Him and Pedri really kick on and see where Barcelona can be. And then the last midfielder is Arsene Zakarian. So Zakarian, you know, was familiar to me and a lot of other Sorare managers last year. That was probably his real breakout season domestically. But when you see the calibre of goals that he's scoring this season, how many goals and assists he is getting this year, the impact he's had on the Russian national team since coming into that, before obviously what's happened to them and all the geopolitical stuff that's happening in the world, the step up in class he's been making for an 18, 19-year-old is stellar. He's hugely progressive, he attracts lots of fouls, he can take set pieces, and as I say, he's just super exciting to watch. And what you're starting to notice now with a lot of the number 10s, the attacking midfielders, the centre attacking midfielders that are starting to be sought out by scouts across the top teams in Europe, is these guys that can do something different, that can play on their own initiative. So many teams that really struggle to win football games but play modern football, play progressive football or whatever, don't have any players that can just unlock two banks of four or can do that something a little bit different to make something happen. And Arsene Zakarian has that in abundance, and he's somebody that, who knows what's going to happen in terms of the Russian situation, etc., but he's somebody that I can imagine not playing in Russia next year, and if you put him into a top 10 league in Europe outside of Russia with a bit more media attention or whatever, with European success, UEFA Champions League, Europa League, etc., he could be one of these kids that really pops out. And again, similar to everyone else on this list, everyone's talking about him as who's the elite team that's going to buy Zakarian. Now, all three of these forwards I've had a lot of fun watching this year, but I've got to say the absolute surprise package for me out of the three was Liam Labada. So when he transferred into Celtic in the summer, like, I'm a Celtic fan, as you guys will know, not big things were expected from this guy whatsoever. And he was just kind of chucked in the deep end because the club was a shambles in the off-season, and when Ange came in, he was playing guys in the under-20s and the reserves in pre-season. Abad had been brought in by the scouting department, just kind of rocked up, and he's just made a name for himself. Ange liked him and he's been played. At this point in time, we're recording this guy's on the 31st of March, right? He's got 24 goal contributions in all competitions this year. He's got 14 goals and 10 assists. Not much was expected for this guy. He's not even probably in the best 11 for Celtic right now. If Ange had everyone fit and available, it's really hard to see him getting in ahead of even Jota, Kyogo, Maeda, all these types of guys. And these are the numbers he's putting up. He's only 19 years of age. Before this, he only had a couple of games in. Before this, the statistics were impressive in Israel, but it's in the Israel League, you know, it's for Petrovic Tikva. I can't even say that, I'm really sorry. I don't want to be disparaging towards that competition because I just don't watch it, but in there to get 12 goals in 36 games and then to move to Celtic, like, you do expect, like, oh, you're not going to get that same return. And actual fact, he's set to smash it, you know, so he's moving up in such a great degree in competition strength in terms of the domestic competition, playing in the Scottish League, much harder than the Israeli League, of course, and then going into European football like he's done for us. Fair enough, we didn't do too great, but still to be coming out with 2 goals and 4 assists in the Europa League is credible in his debut season, and I've been really blown away by him. He's direct, he puts people on the back foot, he's got a wee bit of decision making development to do, but very exciting, front foot orientated, and again, with the numbers he's producing already, I cannot wait to see how he finishes the season and really what's in store for next year and beyond with him. The next one is the counterpart to Kaido Kone. So Jorginho Rutter moved into Hoffenheim in the off-season and again had a big academy kind of pedigree. The club he left were very disappointed to see him go, and Hoffenheim are rubbing their hands. Hoffenheim, as you guys will know, have got a great talent ID department, you know, where they've brought through some amazing footballs in European football over the last 10 years or so. So when I see them picking up somebody like Jorginho Rutter, I'm always going to pay much closer attention to how many minutes they get and what success they have. Already, he's averaging 0.2 goals per game, which for the minutes he's had and the impact he's been having from the bench and whatever, in his debut season, in the top flight, in the Bundesliga for Hoffenheim, who are having a great season, is a very credible statistic. And 11 starts, 2 assists as well. And he's a typical Hoffenheim player. You know, if you look at his heat map, he's not just in the box, he kind of is everywhere. Hoffenheim are one of these progressive teams that really don't have a dogmatic formation. It's more like covering positions of the pitch depending on where the ball is. And to see Jorginho Rutter as a striker get goals and assists and contribute to the rest of the team in that kind of system already is a fantastic debut season for him in the Bundesliga. And then the final striker is probably the biggest name on this list, and it's probably going to be one of the transfer sagas of the summer, and that is Karim Adeyemi. Now, apparently, as of this morning, Salzburg have given Borussia Dortmund a deadline to get their bid in, but Adeyemi's got 19 goals and 3 assists in the league and in the Champions League this year, and he has really blown onto the scene, you know, especially with the performances in the Champions League and the goals he was getting for Salzburg, because domestically, of course, we know that doesn't get rated too highly, what you do in Salzburg. Is he going to go to Bayern? Is he going to go to Dortmund? Is another bigger, well, I say bigger, but you know what I mean? Is another one of the big teams going to come in and splash the cash to go and bring him in? He's a creative forward. He's one of these modern forwards as well. Kind of similar to Ferran Torres. Can play right, can play left, can play through the middle. And he just seems to be the next one off this Salzburg conveyor belt. It seems like he'll almost certainly leave in the summer. Can't wait to see where he ends up. And I'm really eager to see if he can continue these numbers or even beat them. I hope you've enjoyed this video today, guys. These are my breakout wonder kids for the season so far. Let me know who didn't make the list that you think should have, who made my list that you've never heard of before. Let me know in the comment section down below. About to pop on screen there now some other stuff I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Stay out of trouble, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Let's get into all the giveaway stuff before I let you go. I'm still doing monthly giveaways and I'm making it easier to enter. If you want to be entered to win this month's prize or any future giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, you need to be a subscriber to enter, then leave a comment down below. Each month, a random comment from a random video will be selected as the winner, so the more videos you leave a comment on, the better the chance you've got of winning any of my giveaways. All the winners are announced at the end of videos the same way as we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. As always, guys, if you've enjoyed the video today, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. On screen now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.